Welcome to the Raven Quick Start Guide for macOS. In this video, we will walk you through configuring the hardware and the software for your Ravens. Let's begin. In the box, you'll find the Raven touchscreen, revitalizer spray with microfiber cloth, a power supply, a HDMI cable, a USB cable, a quick start guide, and a software voucher to download the software. To connect the Raven to the computer, first plug in the USB cable, HDMI cable, and power supply into the Raven. Next, take the HDMI cable and plug it directly into the HDMI port of the graphics card. Then, take the USB cable and plug it directly into a USB port of the computer. If using dual Raven and the computer does not have another HDMI port, users will need to purchase a HDMI to mini DisplayPort adapter. This adapter can be used to convert the HDMI to mini DisplayPort, which can be plugged into the Thunderbolt port or the mini DisplayPort of the computer. Connect the HDMI cable into the mini DisplayPort adapter and plug it directly into the computer's graphics card. Then, take the USB cable from the second Raven and plug it directly into the USB port of the computer. If the computer doesn't have enough USB ports, users will need to purchase a USB hub. Do not use an unpowered USB hub, as the touch panel of the Raven is powered completely by the USB bus of the computer. We recommend purchasing a powered USB hub. This will be sure the touch panels have enough power to operate smoothly. To connect the Raven to a computer with Thunderbolt 3, users will need a Thunderbolt 3 USB-C hub to connect the iLok and the keyboards. Take the HDMI and plug it into the HDMI port of the computer, and the USB should go directly into the USB port of the computer. If users have a Thunderbolt 2 interface, they will need to use a Thunderbolt 2 to 3 adapter to connect the interface. If using dual Ravens, users will need to buy an Apple multi-port adapter. Plug the HDMI and USB from the second Raven into the multi-port adapter, and then plug the adapter into a free Thunderbolt 3 port of the computer. To power on the Raven, push the top button on the back right of the Raven panel. If the Raven has power, users will notice a green light on the front. If this light turns orange, that means there is a problem with the connection in the graphics card of the computer. To adjust the contrast and brightness of the Raven, use the menu button on the bottom of the panel and the up or down arrows to navigate the submenus. Now that the Raven is connected and powered on, after the HDMI and the USB cable have been plugged directly into the computer, we're ready to register the software using the passcode card that came in the box. To do this, navigate to my.slateaudio.com and set up an account. Please note, if you already own some Slate Audio products, use those credentials to log in. To set up an account, type in your email address, and password. Now type in your name, country, and zip code. Then hit complete registration. Now in our email, we'll need to confirm our email address. Here's the email here, and we will click here to verify our account. Now let's log in. After being logged in, users will see you can add your product registration code here, but before we do this, we are going to link our iLok account. To do this, click here, type in your iLok user ID, and hit verify. If users don't have an iLok account or iLok ID, go to ilok.com and you can set one up here. Please note, if using an iLok ID that is registered to a different email address, users will need to confirm that email address so the licenses are deposited in the correct account. Hit OK, and now go into the email address of the iLok ID. You'll see the email here, and you'll see the code R02. Copy the code, go back to my.slateaudio, paste the code, and verify. Now that the iLok account has been verified, we can redeem our passcode card and iLok license. So go back into your main page and hit Add Products. Type in your passcode here, hit Submit. Next, users will need to choose the DAW to be registered and activated. Every Raven comes with one DAW license. Now that the products have been added to our account, hit OK and enter the Raven product page. Download the installer. While that's downloading, users will want to activate the iLok license to the machine or dongle. Open up the iLok License Manager software, and in the Available tab, you'll see the Raven license. You can right-click it and choose Activate. Now users can choose whether to activate the license to the machine ID or the iLok. I will go ahead and use the iLok. Now that we've completed activation, it's time to install the software. Navigate to your Downloads tab and install the Raven software. Please note, on Catalina, users will want to right-click and choose Open. When prompted, hit Open again. Next, hit Continue to run the Raven installer and type in your password. Now, the Raven is going to install the Raven software, vControl Pro, and UPDD touch driver. After the Raven software has been installed, users can hit Close, keep the installer, and now go install the UPDD installer. Continue and install and type in your passcode. Users will now notice UPDD has asked for some system preferences. This will allow the driver access to the system. To do this, navigate to the Security and Privacy tab and click the lock. Type in your password, and here, users will want to be sure to hit Allow to allow UPDD access to the system. After allowing UPDD access, we will need to allow UPDD accessibility. So hit the Open Accessibility here, and in here we'll want to check on UPDD and UPDD Commander. While in this Accessibility tab, let's add a few other applications. So hit the plus button, add in the DAW, add in the Raven software, add in Automator, also vControl Pro, and finally Terminal, which is in Utilities, Terminal. Now we can remove these error messages and start using the Commander. Now that the touch driver has finished installation, we are ready to configure the touchscreen. To do this, click the hand icon in the menu bar and hit Identify. Now push and hold on the screen until it turns blue. Users can also check more touch settings if you go into the console, and here we have all of the options, and we can calibrate the screen. Run Calibrate, push and hold all the blue crosses, confirm that touch is working, and exit. Now that we've calibrated the screen, we can confirm touch works in the test app here, and we can confirm it works on the desktop. One finger drag, one finger push and hold is a right click, double tap, and in here, two finger drag will scroll up and down, rotate left to minimize, two finger double tap should open up all your applications.
The Raven dashboard now dynamically checks for hardware compatibility. So if users see any error message here, there may be a problem with the connection. For example, if the Raven USB cable is not plugged in, there will be an error message, touch hardware not detected. Click the question mark to expand and read more about how to fix the issue. Currently, the Raven USB cable is not plugged in, and there is no iLok plugged in. As soon as we plug in the USB cable and the iLok, these error messages will go away. To configure the Raven with Logic Pro X, first open up the Raven application. If it's in your dock, you could use a one-finger swipe gesture from the right to launch the Raven application. Now, in the dashboard, hit the Open button next to the Logic Pro X icon. This will automatically open Logic Pro X and the Raven toolbars. Users will notice on the first time opening Logic Pro X, Logic will ask to connect to vControl Pro. You'll want to hit Connect. Now, to confirm the connection, we'll need to look at the control setups. But to get to the control setups, we'll first need to enable Advanced Tools. To show these, click the Logic Pro X drop menu, and in Preferences, select Advanced Tools. Now, click the checkbox for Show Advanced Tools, and then click Enable All. Users will now be able to see all the advanced settings in Logic. Close this window. Now click the Logic Pro X drop menu again, and under Control Surfaces, click the Setup tab. Users should notice vControl is set up in the Control Surface Setup. If it is not, users will want to click on the New option and be sure Automatic Installation is selected. Next, we'll need to configure the key commands. In the Logic Pro X menu, under Key Commands, Presets, select the Raven Key Commands option. This will now use all of the custom key mapping that the Raven has done for batch commands, such as new audio track, or the gestures, which a swipe from the right will make a new audio track. Great feature in Raven 3.6 is dynamic gestures, so now the gesture profile is mapped automatically to the DAW that is open at the time. You can select, four-finger pinch will sum them, a four-finger splay will toggle the summing stacks. Also with gestures, we could pinch zoom on the timeline. And we can hide and show plugins. If I add a plugin here, we can do a five-finger pinch to show or hide the plugin, or a three-finger tap. Now, if users would like to zoom the screen, not just the timeline, you hold down a modifier key, Control, and then you pinch in and you can zoom. If users would like to customize their gestures, launch the Raven dashboard. Under Settings, open the Gestures editor. Next, select a gesture and assign it a keystroke. Set keystroke, I'm going to hit space for play. Now, in Logic, if we do a two-finger tap, it'll play and it'll stop. To save these gesture settings, we just need to save the Raven session. Now, every time we load this Raven session, the gestures will load with it. When loading a new session in Logic, users will notice it only comes with one screen set. The Raven Arrange and Mix buttons utilize screen sets 8 and 9 to recall the Arrange and the Mixer window. To import these settings, users should go to File, Project Settings, Import Project Settings, and under the User tab, under Music, Audio Music Apps, Project Templates, users will find the Raven Screen Set template. Drag your Project Templates folder into the Favorites location for easy access. Select the Raven Screen Set template and press Import. Now, be sure the checkbox for Screen Sets is enabled and click Import. Users will now notice the dual and single Raven screen sets. 8 is the project window, 9 is the mix window. If users would like to customize these screen sets, right-click the taskbar and make your adjustments. If we want to show the sample rate in this expanded transport, I'll hit OK. Now with that setting, I'll select the screen set and I'll unlock and lock the screen set. So whenever I switch to screen set 8, It's going to recall all of my settings. Next, we'll set up the mixer window, which is screen set 9. And in this window, we'll want to be sure that it's set to wide faders and you're showing all the channel strip components. Now, if we open the Raven mixer, you'll see the Raven internal mixer is synced properly with Logic. To make any adjustments to this, be sure the bottom of the Logic window is flush with the red line here. Unlock and lock the screen set. Now that is saved. Once we've customized the screen sets, we'll want to save a template. Now, every time we start a new session, we could start it from the template, or we could import the screen sets into an old session. So we'll make a new session. And under My Templates, we'll select the Raven template. It now loads with all of my correct timecode settings. In Logic Pro X 10.4 and newer, users now have the option to show sends on the internal mixer. Add a couple sends to these tracks, and then toggle on the Sends on Fader button. Now we have multi-touch control over Send 1, and we could swap here to Send 2. Then toggle off Sends on Faders. Now you're back to the volume faders. When using more than 24 faders on Logic, users will notice a very small 24th fader over here. This is because Logic doesn't fit exactly 24 faders on the mix window. If users would like to show more faders, hit the Mixer 24 button, and this will hide the legend of Logic. Now users could show exactly 24 tracks. If users prefer this mode, be sure to unlock and lock the screen set to save that preference to not have the legend showing. So when you switch from arrange to mix, the legend stays hidden.
The Raven faders are precise, smooth, and reactive with a 5 millisecond response time and with support of up to 12 simultaneous multi-touch points on the MTX, up to 6 points on the MTI, and up to 10 on the MTI2. When mixing, I don't even have to keep my finger on the fader. It's easy to grab multiple faders from all over the console and control them however you feel comfortable, and you can do this without looking at the screen. On the Raven mixer, the pans are rotary. On the Logic mixer, the pans are linear. The Fine Faders button allows for as little as half dB automation moves easily because I can quadruple the resolution. To adjust the response of the Fine Faders, simply push and hold the Fine Faders button on the Raven toolbar and move the slider left to right, 1 being slowest and 20 being fastest. You can also activate the Fine Faders feature to specific tracks. Push and hold the dB display on the mixer and the single track will turn yellow, indicating Fine Fader mode. Press and hold again to remove just one track or double tap the Fine Faders button to remove them all. I can bank tracks by swiping on the lower third of the fader plate, using one finger to bank one track or 2 fingers to bank sets of 24. Note, if there are less than 24 tracks in the direction you're swiping, the Raven will not bank. You can use one finger to continuously bank in the desired direction, and Raven will continue until you stop. In addition to gesture banking, we've included banking buttons located on the Raven toolbar that can be toggled between banking 24 tracks and 1 track at a time. Push and hold either of the banking buttons like so to switch between the 2 variations. The icon palette is designed to encourage visibility and organization. Press and hold the black square beneath the track name on the Raven mixer until the floating icon palette appears. We've included a few tabs of new default icons as well to allow users to upload their own icons for use in their Raven sessions. Details on saving Raven sessions is explained in a later section of this video. To place an icon, touch to select the image and it will highlight yellow. Then either tap the icon space where you'd like to place the image or swipe across multiple tracks to add the image to more than one as displayed here. To upload an icon to the palette, press the Browse button on the bottom right of the Raven toolbar. Locate the image you wish to upload from the file browser and load it. The image is now located in your User tab on the icon palette. To place it, follow the same procedure as explained previously. With the Raven external mixer, open a plugin by hitting the Audio FX button on the Raven toolbar and select the plugin you wish to open by using the previous and next buttons to move through the plugin list one by one. Or you can also use your finger to swipe up and down through your plugin list quickly from the floating window. Once you reach your desired plugin, hit Select, and now just reach out and adjust the actual plugin controls. To close, simply touch the highlighted plugin again from the floating window. Once the plugin is closed, you can use this again to quickly recall the last plugin you were working on by hitting the button again. There are also batch commands that will close the front window and toggle plugins, which toggle all open plugins on and off. The batch commands are a series of single buttons that can execute up to 1,000 key commands, menu selections, and mouse clicks. We'll talk more about them later in this video. On the Raven internal mixer, loading plugins is done by holding your finger down on an empty audio FX rack and navigating through each of the drop-downs without lifting your finger until you've reached your desired plugin. Be sure that the desired plugin is highlighted and your finger is over it like so before lifting your finger to select the plugin. When adjusting plugins, note that most function by linear adjustment. However, Slate and other developers plan to offer plugins with multi-touch rotary capability in the future. Touch the Send button to flip the Raven Mixer to the Raven Sends. The Raven Mixer has multi-touch access to sends 1 through 8. Here I can adjust my sends as well as my multi-touch rotary send pan knobs. On both the internal and external mixers, I can solo or mute a bunch of tracks by swiping my solo or mute buttons. I can even skip a few tracks by moving my finger below the buttons and then continuing to swipe, easily skipping my undesired tracks. On the external mixer, I can change my automation by swiping. I can change one track or multiple tracks. On the internal mixer, I can change my automation by choosing from the drop-down menus, like so. We've assigned all of the tools to batch commands, and they're easily accessible on the Raven toolbars across multiple layouts. For more information on the basic preset layout, please review the Raven User Manual. You can also adjust how many Raven toolbar racks you would like visible with the plus and minus rack buttons and adjust the size of the logic window accordingly. Note, the Raven internal mixer requires one rack to be displayed to achieve proper alignment. I can use my finger to easily grab regions, fade, move, and I can even use my finger as the pencil tool to draw an automation. I can just change the automation to volume, select my pencil tool from the Raven toolbar, and draw. Using two fingers anywhere on the Logic Pro X window, I can scroll up, down, left, and right. Within Settings, we've included a NavPad response option which allows users to set their navigation settings. The software is set to default on regular movement settings. However, we provide the option to invert the directional response by hitting the regular button to toggle to inverted on the NavPad response window in Raven Settings. To zoom, toggle your Option modifier key on the Raven toolbar, and again using two fingers, I can zoom up, down, left, and right to zoom to specific selections and locations using the playhead and selected tracks as reference for the zoom. You can tap a selection to deselect the Option toggle or again hit the Option modifier key on the Raven toolbar. The Raven software is completely customizable. Simply hit the Customize Toolbar button on the right of the Raven toolbar and you'll be able to freely relocate your controls to a custom design and even save each customization as different layouts by hitting the Save Layout button and selecting a layout number you wish to save to. The layout is now saved to that number and can be quickly recalled at your discretion. You can have up to 8 unique layouts per Raven session and unlimited Raven sessions, allowing you unlimited layout capability. When saving your Logic Pro X session, we have included a touch button on the Raven toolbar that will save your Logic Pro X session information. We have also included a Save Raven Session button. This button saves a .rav lay file anywhere on your computer you choose. A Raven session contains information about what your layouts look like, which windows are displayed, where your floating tools are located, batch command location, and contents, and even session icons saved. When making changes to layouts, it's important to save your layout changes separate from the full Raven session. After changes have been made to a toolbar on a layout, hit Save Layout, and then overwrite the current one by touching the highlighted layout. You'll see the Save Layout light turn off as a confirmation of its saving. Once your layout is saved, you can save your Raven session. These multicolored or gray buttons are batch commands. The batch command system is a series of single buttons that can execute up to 1,000 key commands, menu selections, and mouse clicks. The Raven software comes equipped with over 80 preset batch commands. However, it's also very easy for you to create your own and even share them with other Raven users. In Raven settings, hit the Switch Default Layouts button to select between various types of preset default layouts we've created for you that specialize in specific workflows. Blank is as it sounds, an empty layout for you to customize and save from scratch. Basic is the layout that will load when the software is first opened or restored to factory default. Here we've created 4 layouts that provide a basic approach to the batch commands to get you up and running quickly. Advanced requires a clear understanding of how the batch commands work and includes over 2 times the content of the basic layout. To program a batch command, push and hold one of the batch command buttons. If empty, the menu will appear empty. However, if you are overwriting a batch command with previous programming, hit the Clear All button in the batch command menu, and the button will be ready for programming. To enter a key command, hit the Key Command button on the batch command menu, and then enter your desired key command. To the right of the key command, you can additionally add delay to the key command launch, or even add a number of repetitions. As an example, make a batch command that will create 5 new instrument tracks. Hit the key command button and enter Option Command N. Hit the key command button again and enter the number 5. Then hit the key command button once more and hit Enter on the keyboard's number pad. Now I'll name the batch command 5 new instrument tracks and give it a color by touching one. To save this batch command for future use, I hit the Save button. It's now located in my User tab to quickly recall later. To lock in this custom batch command into my Open Batch Command button, simply hit Confirm on the batch command menu, and now try touching the batch command and watch it create 5 new instrument tracks for you automatically. In the batch command menu, you can also access preset batch commands as well as the custom batch commands you've saved. Touch the QUICKLIST button to open access to preset mouse click and menu items to program into your command line. Let's create a batch command that will copy and paste the selected channel strip on the Raven internal mixer to 10 tracks to the right of the selected track, and then we'll save it to our QUICKLIST user tab. First, hit the QUICKLIST button, and in the search bar on the top, let's type Copy Plugin and select Copy Plugin Chain to Right ×1 from the list and hit Select. Now let's add the number 10 to the times area to the right of the item here. Let's name it, give it a color, and hit Save, and then hit Confirm. Now let's put it into action. On the Raven internal mixer, I'll select this channel here with my drum plugin chain that I want to paste across my other channels. One button will copy the selected channel strip and paste it across the next 10 tracks to the right. If I want to add this custom batch command to a different layout, I can locate my saved batch commands in the User tab on the QUICKLIST. We've created tons of great preset batch commands across your layouts and have also shown you how to customize your own batch commands using key commands and QUICKLIST items. Another really powerful feature to the batch command system is the ability to record your own custom mouse clicks. Push and hold a batch command to open the batch command system programming menu. Now we'll hit the Record button and we watch the batch command system record your mouse clicks and key commands in the sequence you perform them. Once completed, hit the Record button again and name your new batch command. This will save to your User Recordings tab for later use as well. Now I'll just add my new recording into my batch command line, give the button a name and a color, and hit Confirm. Now watch my new custom recorded batch command perform a key command and mouse click. Not only can you save custom batch command scripts, but you can also save entire batch command panels to easily relocate them across your layouts. Push and hold the batch command panel's label until a dialog window appears. Here, you can name and color code your batch command panel, and save them to your QUICKLIST by hitting Save. Hitting Save will locate your saved batch command panel to the QUICKLIST here. You can see the name and size of the saved batch command panels here. To add a saved batch command panel to an empty batch command panel, press and hold the label area of the batch command panel until the dialog window appears and hit QUICKLIST. Search and select the batch command panel you wish to load and confirm the size of the panel matches the QUICKLIST item selected by reviewing the size column. Once confirmed, hit Select. Now just name your batch command panel and give it a color. Then hit Confirm. Importing a batch command is simple. In the Batch Command System menu, hit QUICKLIST and select the User tab from the top. Now hit the Load button and locate the .ravbc file on your computer. Select the file, and Raven will import the file into your User tab. Exporting is similar. From your User tab, select one of your saved batch commands and hit Export. This will save the file to your desired location and can now be shared with other Raven users. To go through our batch command for Logic Pro X Basic Training, click here. For a comprehensive coverage of the basic preset layout, please review the user manual and videos located in your Raven settings. In addition to the Raven toolbar, we have also included two fully customizable floating tool palettes. The first of the two is called the Floating Toolbar, and the other is called the Essentials palette. Both are designed for adding a select group of tools for managing screen real estate. I can add tools by again customizing my toolbar. When the tools are arranged on one or both of my floating tool palettes to my preference, I hit Customize Toolbar again, and my layout has been saved. I can then toggle them on and off by hitting the Floating Toolbar Essentials button on the Raven toolbar. The floating mixer is your direct access to multi-touch faders and pans in the Edit window. The floating mixer offers the same capabilities as the Raven external mixer, including the ability to swipe automation, solos, and mutes, and even adjust the size of the window itself by hitting the addition and subtraction buttons on the top left of the floating mixer. I can even gain access to my multi-touch rotary pan knobs by hitting the pan button on the top left of the floating mixer to toggle between automation and pans. The Raven software requires the following minimum computer requirements to function properly. Raven will not work on operating systems earlier than 10.7 OS X Lion. Mac Pro. On the MTX and MTI, we recommend computers produced after 2010 with a minimum of 2.3 GHz of processing power. A graphics card with a minimum of 512 MB of VRAM, such as the Intel HD 4000, and at least 4 GB of RAM. However, 8 GB of RAM is recommended. MacBook Pro and Mac Mini. On the MTX and MTI, we recommend a computer produced after 2010 with an i7 processor operating at a minimum of 2.3 GHz processing power. A graphics card with a minimum of 512 MB of VRAM, such as the NVIDIA GeForce GT 330M, and at least 4 GB of RAM. However, 8 GB of RAM is recommended. We are available for you to answer questions or comments Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, via our online support help desk, slatesupport.com. From all of us here at Slate, thank you for your attention, and welcome to the future of Studio Control.